Building strong client relationship, the key to long-term success in business.
That relationships aren't just the cornerstone of success.
How do you ensure what your client relationship remain strong and mutually beneficial over time, especially as business needs evolve?
Um,
Thank you so much, Colin, for giving your time and coming and showing us how the promo industry looks from your point of view. The topic today was building strong client relationship, the key to long-term success in business. The first question to you is, when did you first realize that building strong client relationship was the cornerstone of success in your business?
so when did I first learn that building a strong relationship was important or the cornerstone of my business? I would
Yeah.
say very, very early. I learned
Okay.
really from the start. But as time has progressed, I've been 23 years in the
Right.
promotional industry now. I realize more and more that relationships aren't just the cornerstone of success. They're everything. Relationships are absolutely everything, but not just with your clients.
Right.
Relationships with your colleagues, with your suppliers, and even
Yeah.
with your competitors, with
Okay.
everybody.
True, very true. This is how you've come across the success you've defined. The second question, what are the most common mistake businesses make when trying to establish or maintain their client relationship? How can they avoid them?
So what are the mistakes
Mhm.
that people make in establishing relationships? Well, there's a few things that come to mind for me. And number one, assuming that just one interaction is
Yeah.
enough, right?
Yeah.
You've contacted the
Yeah.
customer, everything's gone great, and you think, okay, great, I've done my job. Absolutely
No.
not. You've
No.
got to keep working at it. One relationship is not enough, or one relationship contact. You've got to keep contacting the customer. You've got to keep working with them, and you can't be just transactional. You've got to learn the customer, try to build
Right.
a deeper relationship with the customer. You've got
Right.
to become friends with the customer. For me, building a friendship with the customer is super important. Another mistake, I think, is probably neglecting to seek feedback. If you're starting to build a relationship with your customer, don't just assume that everything
Yes,
is
of course.
going okay. You got to take the time and ask the customer, tell me, what's going well,
What's going well,
what's
of
going,
course.
and where's the opportunity to
Right.
improve? What can we do better that we're not
Right.
doing right now? So
Mm-hmm.
asking smart questions like that. Another good question, I think, is, I used to like asking our customers, what are our competitors doing that we're
Okay.
not doing? Right. So just
Right.
asking the question and being open to the feedback.
How about you you helping when you sell a product, you get into a customer, you don't finish your job. You have to be in touch with them, check with them, did they really like it? What are the competitors are doing? How is the
Yes.
product still working? Would they need something else? That rightly you
Yes.
mentioned. And of course, if one follows that, can overcome this objection anytime. The third question was, how do you ensure what your client relationship remain strong and mutually beneficial over time, especially as business needs evolve?
It's about regular check-ins. I
Right.
feel, some of the most successful people that I've met in our industry, I'm super surprised at how they take the time to ping me. They just
Mhm.
ping me every now and again, right? This could be,
Wow.
it could be competitors, suppliers, customers, whoever. They're just checking in. How's
That's good
everything going?
relationship that you have with everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
So I think that regular check-ins, another thing which is kind of cliche, but I think it's really important. Everybody likes to talk, right? Everybody
Yeah.
likes to talk, but it's really important to let the customer talk, all right? Let them talk, be a good listener,
Very true.
right? And,
Right.
and also, if you can, over time, it's not just about the business, but taking interest in them outside of the business. What floats their boat? What's their passion?
Right.
Sometimes a customer, they can have a passion. Maybe it's a Real Madrid football club, or maybe they've
Yeah.
got a charity that they're working on, or they like
Right.
fishing or something like that. Find out what their main interest is, what they're passionate about, and let them talk about that. And that really
Yeah.
helps to deepen the relationship,
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, one other thing that I would say, and maybe this is an Irish thing, it's not so much an Irish thing, but in Europe, you want to make friends with your customer, right? You want to take that from a transactional business relationship to a
Yes.
friendship. And one
Yes.
way I found is a great way to make friends with your customer is to have a beer with them if you get an opportunity,
An
right?
Irish style.
Yeah, like you make friends, you see them in a social setting, take the time
Yes.
to make friends, and that's how the best relationships,
Unwind with them. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
believe so.
I agree with you.
So I would say another thing, building a relationship, email, is okay, but
Mhm.
picking up the phone.
Call and
Talking
talk.
talking's better, right?
Mhm.
Maybe a video call is even better again, but nothing beats face
Yes.
to face. If
Statement.
you can get to meet that customer face to face, and even better if you can do it in a social setting, you can build really strong relationship
You take
in
it
that
to
way.
the customer level, next level, client relationship. You meet them, you drink with them, you understand not only business, but you understand the mentality of that customer and you groom it for the next order is with you for sure. However, but he is your customer, a good customer, a dear friend. The whole story that you built to a customer is amazing. That's one should treat the customer like the same way, not just one time customer. It should be for a lifetime customer.
I
Yeah.
agree with you.
The kind of rapport you building with your dear ones. So
Abs-
the fourth question, what role does effective communication play in building trust and loyalty with clients?
Of course, it's important to communicate effectively, but how can you communicate effectively? I feel that something that I've learned, maybe even through mistakes and experience, is
Wow.
to be authentic, to
Yeah.
be your authentic self. So I can tell you a little bit about, my earlier years when I started growing in the industry. I went into
Wow.
some senior roles, and I kind
Mhm.
of felt like I had to be this stereotypical professional businessman, maybe always serious and very
Wow.
focused and
Wow.
working very hard. And of course,
Wow.
working hard is important, but I think it's even more important to be yourself. Okay.
Yes.
You can have fun in your
Yes.
work, right? If
Yes.
you can introduce an element of fun and
Yes.
authenticity and trying to be your true self, I think
Yes.
is a really good way to communicate effectively. Something else about effective communication, if you tell your customer you're going to do something, you better do it, right? If you tell
Yeah.
them, I'm coming back tomorrow, and you don't come back tomorrow, you lose the
That's
trust,
you killing the
right?
trust. He will never
Yes,
answer you. He will never entertain you if you never come back.
exactly. So if you say to the customer, I'm going to come back tomorrow, if I'm going to come back on Wednesday, but I come back on Thursday, not good. But if you tell the
Good.
customer you're going to come back on Friday and you come back on Thursday,
That's very
brilliant.
nice.
So, don't overpromise. Make sure
Yeah.
you can deliver, and that way you can build the trust
And
with the
that's how you
customer.
don't kill it on the second question you rightly mentioned. Don't just do the customer for the one time, win it for the lifetime.
Yes. So a couple of other things I think are important that I've learned. Sometimes when our customer comes to us with an inquiry, they come
Right.
and they give us this great inquiry. And so we start working really hard in the background and we're doing
Right.
everything we can to get the answer. And sometimes I've seen some
Mhm.
really good companies not reply to the customer until they get the information. So the customer starts to get nervous. 1 or 2 days later, they come back and say, well, where are we with the inquiry? So I think another effective way to communicate is respond as quickly as possible. Let the customer know, hey, we've received your inquiry and we're so
Right.
thankful and we're going to come back and whenever. That way they know that you're working on it.
That's how you build it. You're keeping it live. You're keeping the vibe live. It should
Yeah.
be passion. It should not be pressure. Can you share a story where a strong client relationship helped overcome a significant challenge or achieve a major business milestone?
So, a story where a strong client relationship helped me to achieve a major business milestone. For over 22 years, I have worked for companies within our industry. And I worked in some senior roles. I worked with many people from around the world. I was very thankful to do that. But just very recently, I took a career break and now I've launched my own consultancy business, working with a
Wow.
number of consultants from around the world. And I think that I was only able to take the leap from being an employee to being self-employed by the strong relationship that I built. So those strong relationships in general that I've built, connecting people around the world, that's enabled me to take the leap from being an employee to being
So
self-employed.
self-employed consultant, right? So how are you doing that from a employee to a self-employed now? What difference that you see? What challenges that you overcome? Can you tell me one milestone?
Very different working for yourself as opposed to running your own business as opposed to running somebody else's business. It feels very different. I
Yeah.
mean, I was so thankful for all of the opportunities that I've achieved in the past. But when you're working for a company, you have that guaranteed income coming in all of the
Mhm.
time. When you
Of
move
course.
to running your own business, then there's maybe a little bit less security, so a little bit more risk, but also more reward
More,
because
more
you
work
can
and
have
it's fun. When you take it to a passion, if you choose self-employed, I'm sure it's a passion and you doing it with passion, not a pressure. And I'm sure there are some gives and bads also in both. You have to report time, you have to get salary, but now you know you can wake up on time, you have your own time, you don't need to report to work. Your mind mentality prepared.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly it's I mean it's very rewarding, so you can also have a better work life balance. I think when you're working for yourself, and it's super rewarding. But really, the takeaway for me is that it wouldn't be if I hadn't built some really strong relationships over the 22 years in my industry that
Wow.
I would be able to do that. You know, I've been very fortunate because a lot of people in our industry, they maybe stay focused on one market, whether it's UK or USA or
Mhm.
Canada or
Yes,
India or
yes, so
France. But I've been fortunate to work across all of the major industries, all of the major
lovely.
countries in our
Love.
industry, building connections, building relationships, and that's what's enabled me to go out and
Wow.
represent companies from China or India or elsewhere, and represent them in the Western markets.
Nice. Have you attended a exhibition where promo industry, promotional product, gifting culture? How are you connected with this industry?
So how am I connected?
I want to know where the strings is joined of your promo industry.
Yeah,
From where?
I mean,
From
I'll tell you something that worked really well for me personally. I worked with a major American company, and we were launching primarily writing instruments at that time into
beautiful
Europe, which was a very saturated market. So we went to the shows, right? We went to all of the shows, and everybody
exhibition.
said, all the exhibitions, everybody said, "What do you guys do?" "Oh, well, we're selling pens." And they were like, "Not another pen supplier. Are you kidding me? Everybody's selling pens."
Oh,
And even
oh,
people who aren't selling pens are selling pens. So as a way to establish good relationships with people, we
yes, yes,
at the
it
trade
does.
shows, we built a horse. This is what we did. We
Wow.
created an experience. We built a horseshoe bar. We had a musician on the exhibition.
Wow.
We had beer for people, and we created an atmosphere. Give them
It
somewhere
changed
to
the
come and
game. It
yeah,
changed.
well, we give them somewhere to come and relax at the trade show. And first, we made friends
Wow.
with them,
Wow.
right? And then we
First.
spoke about business later. Sometimes they would be there for 20 minutes, and after they might say, "What is it you guys sell again?" And we said,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, it's writing instruments. Let's come and visit you." And so we made the connection first. So that's how I got to meet a lot of people
The
attending all
change.
the exhibitions.
You used to go to them to sell pens. You did
Yes,
some major changes in the stall. And
yes.
then they asking you, what do you do?
Yeah,
Wow. It
yeah,
changed. It
yeah.
changed the whole.
It worked
Yeah.
well, but you have to back that up
Yep.
by
Yep.
having good quality product, good service,
No,
delivering on time.
no complaints about it. I'm sure you must have did a great job. That's how you turned the table. That what is
Well,
your name?
yeah. Well, one other thing I would say too is sometimes things go wrong, right?
Good. Yeah.
And, you know, it's really important to communicate clearly and honestly with your
Very
customer.
clear. Yes. Yes.
So
Don't
that's
know.
really important. You need
Don't
to put
just.
your hands up and say, "This is what's gone wrong, and this is the options that we can do to
Yeah,
fix it
yeah.
for you."
You better work on your deliverables before you promise them. You
Yes.
define well advance what you're going to give them, what you're not going to give them. Be very clear when you have a face-to-face meeting. You
Yes.
don't create a bad impact or don't just kill the customer by the bad vibes.
Yes,
The
exactly.
sixth question, what lesson or message would you like to give listeners of this podcast, especially those looking to build better, long-lasting relationship with clients?
Okay,
Yeah.
so some of the things we discussed is be authentic, right? Number
Yeah.
one, be
Yeah.
yourself whenever you're working with your clients and your colleagues. Try to be yourself. Ping them, right? Consistent engagement, especially
Yes.
the clients that you and the people that you want to build a stronger relationship with. Check in every now and again with them, right?
Okay.
And
Stay updated, right?
yeah,
Yeah, nice.
make friends, not just the
The
colleagues, right? Make friends.
game-changing evolution by the Irish style. Take him to the drink. Take him for unwind session. Don't feel like him customer. Amazing. That's a
Yeah.
good example for all the listeners podcast who's going to listen to supplier distributor of both the countries and plus India as well. Thank you so much, Colin, for your time. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you to place an order or to get an advice?
Okay, so my email address is colin@fivefisherwick.com,
Thank
and
you.
you can connect with me on your LinkedIn. So if any of your
Awesome.
listeners in India need to connect with the right people in
Right.
Europe or
No,
USA, they need representation, they need
of
to
course.
meet the right partner,
Of
or
course.
they need help with a strategy for their business in Europe,
Right.
I would be
Right.
delighted to help them.
Super. Awesome. Any supplier, distributor wants to get in touch with you for consulting or wants to place big orders or wants to have a creative ideas, what to give to their employees, what to give to the customers, I'm sure they can get in touch with the email address that you gave to them. We're looking forward to see more podcasts happening with you and the supplier, the three, four suppliers and debate on a topic. I will soon invite you on that.
Lovely chatting to you, and thank you so
Yes.
much for the
Thank
invite.
you so much.